Ooh, all right. So we are down to one final night. And after last night, I felt like I had a few things left over to say. Some shows are just like that. You gotta say a little more. And then also make some picks for tonight. And I guess we will. I'm not going to pick Mike's Groove again, although I'm still feeling a Mike's Groove. There are some songs that just feel like a natural there. And although I got to say, Esther is not one of them. And then they played it, and it was awesome. So I don't know. Well, I guess we'll see. Maybe anything works there. I feel like it's more of a the open-ended songs. Maybe then even Fluffhead last night. Who knows what can get a jam and what can't. I was thinking maybe more like an Antelope versus a Bowie or a Hood versus a Slave, things like this. But it all seems to work. Like a Plasma in there, maybe. All right, so we'll talk about last night. A little additional on last night, and it's just like everything was so good that like Ghost and Chalk Dust Torture, which were and Wave of Hope, which all were under the 10 minute, maybe even under 9 minutes. Maybe not Ghost, but they're probably going to get overlooked and forgotten a little bit. Maybe not forgotten, but they're just not going to be at the top of your list. And yet, some shows, those would have been two of the highlights, but yet last night they were like the sixth and seventh, maybe the eighth best song in there with that trio of songs. And then also, I think not that I guess I always did it, but then hearing Trey talk about how he does set lists, also definitely I was like, yeah, I want to keep these recaps in the spirit of Phish. Says he has like a list of 50 or so songs, and then he narrows that down to somewhat of a set list. And then he looks that over, and then he takes it, he crumbles it up, and he throws it away, and they walk out on stage. And that's kind of what I do with my notes, really. As the show's going on, I'm taking notes, and then at the end of the show, I kind of look over them, and then I get up there and I do the video. But then last night, shows like that, I probably need to rely on notes. Some nights it's like, okay, this was a pretty good set. This was the highlight. Same thing over here, pretty short, and, maybe not so noteworthy encore. So really, I don't need to rely on the notes a whole lot. I don't know what he does on nights that are just like super crazy, or then the nights that are a little bit dull. What happens with his game plan there on the set list? So really, and then these dick shows, the older I get, these later shows do get harder and harder. I do feel like I'm getting a little bit sleep deprived. It's harder. Not that my thoughts are ever super clear or anything too profound, but lately it's just feel like I can't even get words out. Some of these late night recaps, last night especially. Although last night it was also part of the show, And then it was just like all the songs that had jams. It was like even within that song, like from song to song, they were somewhat different. And then if it wasn't somewhere in there, like maybe it was the 46 days, part of the 46 days felt like part of the Howling, but another part of the 46 days and another part of the Howling felt like no, not at all. And then part of the Howling felt like a little bit of the Fluffhead. So while there was some similarities, they were a little bit all over the place, man, showing a little bit of all the style. And I just absolutely had to add that clip at the end talking about Fishman. I just felt like he was just, a notch above last night. I don't know if it's the new fancy hair that he's rocking. He's got that nice little boy's cut. It used to be in the past when I started doing all this, it was Trey who was always rocking the little boy's cut, usually for a New York run of some sorts. Looks like Fishman may have him somebody out there in the Denver area working on that hair. The one night it was like maybe a Munchkins thing. I don't know, but no, I think it's just what he rocks now. Goes to the barber. It's like, hey, it's picture day tomorrow. Maybe they got a new album coming out. Ooh, that's what it was. It was picture day for the band. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe he's just like trying to look younger. Give me the little boy's cut. And I don't mean anything, I don't mean anything by that. Anything. Don't get your mind in the gutter. Just, you were elementary school, you'd go, picture day was coming up, your mom would take you to some local barber, and you'd get what traditionally I would refer to as the little boy's cut. I don't know what girls got, man. I'm not a girl. I don't know what they had. I had a sister, but I'm not sure what she was rocking. Something. Bangs, man. A lot of bangs. I remember a lot of bangs. I do remember that. All right, so let's get to my picks, And obviously, let's not forget about Chalk Dust and Ghost. How the jamming just was kind of all over the place, but in a good way. The playing, even on songs like Mound and Reba, while not maybe 100% flawless, okay, it's not 1989. They're not practicing 48 hours a week or anything anymore. Not having any milkshake sessions, any Oki Pa sessions, So, Yeah, and then I got to remember if it's a night like that, like perhaps if tonight they go off the rails again, maybe I'll have to rely on my notes. Even put some notes on the whiteboard. Tonight's whiteboard not spoken for. So I feel like whatever. I mean, I jot some notes on whiteboards that even are spoken for. They'll be getting all that. Sometimes people get real protective of the format here. Like I could just imagine someone out there being like, "Don't change what you do just because somebody wants the whiteboard." Don't worry, I don't. I've written some wild stuff on a whiteboard that I knew was headed to somebody. All right, not that wild, you know. I don't know. Might have drawn a penis or something. I can't remember. All right, so the picks for tonight. Let's get this over with. Like I said, I want to call Mike's Groove, but just not feeling it. We'll see where Rose is. I've kind of lost track of her. She's here in the room somewhere. I was going to let her make some picks. But earlier when we were discussing it, she was all like, Lizards, the Sloth, Camel Walk, Famous Mockingbird, Gaiuti. I was like, I see what you're doing. You just want all the animal songs. Your pet cat. She doesn't even know that's a song yet. Wait till she finds out. All right, so where were we? No Mike's Groove, but first couple a little bit boring here. Moma Dance, Kill Devil Falls. And then maybe reaching out a little bit, Limb by Limb. And then one, I hate to bum you out, but Shade. And then one, I feel like, you know, our fishy moment, Saw It Again. So we got Saw It Again, Shade, Limb by Limb, Kill Devil Falls, Moma Dance. Boom. Mike's Groove over there on reserve. Personally, I'd like to hear maybe a Plasma going into something, maybe like a Passing Through, something Passing Through. I don't know. Maybe like, what's something? What would be a cool one? Limb by Limb. Could they do that? Would that even work? Passing Through, Limb by Limb, Plasma, Limb by Limb, Passing Through. I don't know. That'd be awesome. I don't even know if they could do that, though. All right, boom. We're out of here. We got one more night, guys. Thanks for tuning in all summer and everything. You the man.